giving you useful and practical tips to help you make more money selling travel. This is the Art of Selling Travel Podcast, and here to guide you through it all, your host, Glenda Beagle.
Well, hello there, and welcome back once again to the Art of Selling Travel Podcast. I can't wait to dive into this episode. It, I think, is a really important one for a lot of travel advisors. We all hear about the term lead magnet, and there's a lot of conversations about, do you need one? Why isn't it working? I'm getting subscribers, but I'm not getting sales. I'm not getting subscribers. You know, there's so much. And when you own a travel agency, when you own a business in travel, you have so much coming at you from all the different places all the time that it can be really and truly overwhelming to now try and add in how it is that you are supposed to now also build up this business, get all these new leads in. So let's talk about, on this episode, why most lead magnets don't work, but also we're going to give you some tools for what you can do to get yours to work. And at the end, if you're still overwhelmed, first off, check out the show notes. Apparently, I've developed some weird sort of accent today. But I'm going to link up for you a Google Doc that I did. You don't even have to opt in. That's how, we're just going to keep it simple here. I'm going to put a Google Doc in the show notes that you can access that's going to give you a bunch of tips and tricks, reasons why it's not working, and things to kind of keep an eye out for. But also, too, if you're still struggling, check the show notes. Periodically throughout the year, we offer a lead magnet for sales conversion workshop. We do it as what we call our lead splits to help you to better understand what it's going to take to get people into your world that are actually ready to buy. It's not just about email subscribers, but actually clients ready to buy. So that's going to be in the show notes as well. We've got some coming up every couple of months. So if that's something of interest to you, go check that out. We do our best to keep that updated. Okay. So let's talk about what a lead magnet is. So a lead magnet is something that's going to get people's attention, either to get their email address or to actually start a sales conversation. In the traditional world of lead magnets, a lot of them do it for getting people onto their email list. I kind of change that up a little bit because I'm not necessarily about just gathering email subscribers. I actually want to have sales conversations. And so with the way that I do it, in my business, a lot of times we skip right past just getting them on the email and instead into a full-out sales conversation. Now, don't get me wrong, you need to have them on your email list. The importance of having them on your list is a couple of things. One, travel has a very long sales cycle. This is not something that they buy every month. It is not something that they buy on impulse every other week. It's not what sits at the checkout counter at the local Walmart when you're going through. It's not a pack of gum. We are talking about significant purchases. And for some clients, that level of significant purchase might be that they only purchase it every couple of years or once a year or every other year. So depending on who the client is, the type of travel they're booking, and depending where you're picking them up in the sales cycle, it could be quite a while before it is that they're actually ready to buy from you. So it's either to send them into a sales conversation or to get them on your email. Now, an email subscriber is not a guarantee as a guaranteed sale. Same thing. If you're having conversations on social media, it's not a guarantee that they're automatically going to buy. And in fact, I would say sometimes if the conversation doesn't come off of social media, there is a lower likelihood that they will actually convert over to a sale. There's a lot of conversation that takes place with that, but we want to get them into a position or into a point where they're actually getting off social media and into either a Zoom call or an actual phone call. You know, you want to get them to that point. But you do want email subscribers over social media followers. I'm sure you've heard it talked about before. A social media follower, you don't own that social media platform. email lists, you can download, no matter what platform you're using to send out your emails, go in periodically, download a Excel spreadsheet of all of the people who are on there so that you can go through and have that updated list. Get yourself a backed up list because that is your asset. You actually own the ability to contact all of those people. So add to your monthly or quarterly activity list of going through and downloading that. So why do most lead magnets not work? Well, we're going to go through that. For a lot of them, they're irrelevant. They're a one size fits none. A good example of that, a packing list, particularly if we are talking about a luxury traveler. I promise you, if these are frequently traveled guests, they absolutely do not, I repeat, do not need a packing list. They already know how many pairs of underwear to take, how many pairs of pants to take. Now, if you want to do something like that, I would do the most forgotten items on a river cruise, the most forgotten items when traveling to Disney. That possibly might create a little bit more intrigue, but you want to make sure that whatever the product is you're selling or whatever your outcome is, because again, and that's not even in my notes. So we're going to chase a squirrel for a second here. So often the lead magnet is just this wide open vague, let's throw a giant net and we're going to just capture whomever. We need to be very specific in what the outcome is. A lot of time lead magnets are created and the travel advisor has absolutely no idea what it is they ultimately want to sell. If you don't know what it is that you ultimately want to sell, you don't know what it's going to take to truly capture the attention of an ideal client because you probably don't even know who that ideal client is. But also is just this blank, here, I got something for travel. Who cares? I don't know about you, but my emails are already jam-packed full of emails that I'm getting. If it's irrelevant, if it's something that's not going to help solve a problem, if it's not going to help me grow my business, improve my quality of life, get me something that I want, I'm going to unsubscribe. Unsubscribing, again, we're going to chase another squirrel here. Unsubscribing is not the end of the world. It's data. Unsubscribing is something that's going to show you what's resonating, what's not. If you do some lead magnets and the first time you put out an offer, everybody unsubscribes. And by everybody, I mean 2 people or 3 people. It depends what that percentage is. You want to have a look at how am I attracting people? Because clearly I'm not attracting people who want to buy from me. Now, there's a lot of marketers out there that'll tell you, oh, then we need to change what's going out in your email because you don't want to have all these unsubscribes. I promise you, you want people to unsubscribe because that's going to give you data. But the other thing is that if you've attracted people who have no intention of buying from you, you don't want them on your email address. I have no desire to hoard email addresses of people who are not part of my ideal audience. If you ask to join my Facebook group and you are not a travel advisor, I'm not going to let you in because I don't need to have people in my group, in my world, who aren't otherwise going to potentially at some point possibly buy from me. I want to make sure that the odds are in my favor that there's a possibility somebody's going to buy from me. So if I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're never, ever, ever going to buy from me, I don't need you in my email. I don't need you in my Facebook group. I don't need you to be a part of my marketing world because there's no advantages for that. And so instead of just trying to get these giant vanity metrics, and don't get me wrong, I track how many followers I have. I track my podcast downloads. I track my email subscribers. I track all of those things on the weekly because it's data that helps me to know what I should be working on, what worked well. Every once in a while, I get like a true anomaly where I'm like, okay, wait, what do you mean the podcast got 1,100 downloads in a week? What's going on? So in which case I can have a look at it and say, okay, something shifted. Oh, this topic was a lot more popular than these topics were. Again, it's all data. Now, when it comes to your lead magnet, it's all data. If nobody's downloading your lead magnet, it's probably because it's irrelevant to them. It was too long. 75 places you need to hit before, like on your bucket list. It's too long. It needs to solve a problem in 5 minutes, preferably, but 10 minutes as a maximum. So if you are working on a lead magnet that is pages and pages and pages and pages and pages long, good news, throw it out. Split it up. Do it 5 destinations in Europe, 5 destinations in Asia, whatever it is. Don't do these massive, massive lead magnets because very few people who actually want to buy from you are going to read it unless you've tested it and it's actually successful. But if it's too long, they're not going to opt in. If I saw a 75 things you should do to lose weight by summer, there is no way I am looking at that. There is just no way. 3 things you need to cut out to drop 10 pounds. Oh yeah, I'll take a look at that. 3 things every family needs to know before their next magical vacation. Yeah, I'm going to look at that. 5 things that most travelers get wrong, that cost them money, that cost them time, cost them whatever. I'm going to pay attention to that if that's what I'm looking for. See, a lot of times our clients don't know that it's actually for them. They don't know they should opt in because they're like, yeah, I don't know what this is. It's not converting to sales often because it's attracting the wrong client. It's attracting the wrong people. That's a lot of times, a lot of lead magnets out there attract a DIYer. Guess what? A DIYer wants you to get the cheapest price, or they're going to do it themselves. If you're doing anything in your lead magnet that is about how to save money, you are going to attract a DIYer. I don't know about you, but when I was selling travel, I sure didn't want DIYers. They were a pain in the butt. How can you talk about it differently? Again, this comes back to knowing what it is you want to sell and who it is you want to sell it to. And what are the obstacles between point A and point B? That's what your lead magnet should be about. It needs to solve a small problem while simultaneously agitating a bigger problem that they would then want to hire you for. So example, 5 vacations that your teenagers will actually think you're cool again. And then in there, you want to talk about variables or experiences or something that's in there that will take them from thinking you're cool to being full out awesome. But I get it. You don't have the time. You are raising teenagers. You don't have the time to worry about looking up all of these things, to know what's going to this, that, the other, how to skip the lines so that you're not waiting in line with a teenager, because you can lose a lot of cool points right away by making those teenagers stand around. That's why you'd want to hire a professional travel advisor to get that insider exclusive. You want to solve one small, tiny problem and then agitate a bigger problem. Another reason it's not working is you're talking to the wrong audience. When you're not aware, like if you're not putting in the time and effort to talk to the right people with the right outcome, you don't know if you have the right audience. Or worse yet, you start using the wrong language. One that I see all the time is this overuse of the word luxury. And when I work with travel advisors who are struggling to get sales, we go through their marketing pieces and we look at it, and I see luxury, 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 luxury all the time. And yet, when I say, Would your client call themselves luxury? Would they refer to themselves as a luxury client? Oh, no. I said, then why are you calling them one? Because they don't know you're talking to them if it's not the language that they use. You've got to use language that they use in order to get their attention. Again, that goes back to they didn't know it was for them. The other thing is if you truly are using the word luxury and you attract a genuine luxury client, and yet what you put in there is premium, not luxury, now you've alienated not just one, but two markets. You want to make sure that you're talking to the right person. Are you talking to the traveler or are you talking to the decision maker? A lot of times they're not actually the same person. You have to talk to the person who's going to be making the decision. You want to talk to the person and the struggles and what's preventing them from saying yes. But it's got to be the right person who's actually going to be the one that makes the decision. Lead magnet hooks need to speak to the way your prospective client identifies themselves, not that insider language. It's got to be the way they would think of it. And it's got to be really specific terms, not vague and things like blueprint or roadmap or, just you want to be crystal clear, tight with the wording you use. Another reason it's not converting to sales is that it's possible you're using your host agencies. Win a free trip, win a free cruise. I promise you, people who are looking for free trips and free cruises who then immediately get put onto deal emails are not going to have the same level of close rate as anybody else. Again, those free trips, free cruises, free whatever, they are for email hoarders. The ones that are looking to convert into sales aren't going to attract the ones that are just looking for something free. They aren't going to just look for the ones that think that all they have to do is give an email and they're going to make thousands of dollars. We recently here, the one car company has put out an email offer or like an email thing. Sign up for our email list and get entered to win a free car. It's not even the brand that I want. Like we actually joked about, we're like, okay, cool. So if we won that, then we'd turn around, we'd sell it, and we'd go buy this brand. So we have no intentions of buying that brand. We have no intentions, even if we win that vehicle, of keeping it. Instead, we're going to sell it off so that we can go buy the brand we want. But quote unquote, they got us on their email list. Yeah, they got everybody in my family because I'm like, hey, kids, enter this. And so they did. My kids are all adults. But the thing is, though, is that we are not their ideal client. But they got us by the quote unquote free car. Their emails have been crazy sparse. Every so often I get one from them. I'm like, why am I getting an email? Oh, right. Yeah, no, we entered that. Yeah, the draw's not for another couple months. I know when the draw is because then we're going to unsubscribe because I have no desire. And I know that makes me sound super shallow and everything else, but mama could use a free car. Do I actually think I'm going to get one? The manifest part of me is like, sure, why not? But the reality, logical side of me is like, as if. But you can't win if you don't play. You have to know what the outcome is every time you are getting somebody onto your email list. Why do you want them there? Who do you want to have there? This, I think, is one of the reasons why so many people say email lists don't work, because they've been flooded with garbage emails. Once you have them on the lead magnet, once they've opted in for the lead magnet, are you showing them what's next? Are you showing them what the next step is, what they're going to do? Or did they opt in and then there was nothing else there? Did they opt in and there's no follow-up sequence? Did they opt in and you suddenly threw them onto, your host agency spam bot emails? Was there a what's next more in alignment with the lead magnet, or did you do a bait and switch? See, if your lead magnet's about river cruise, Are the next couple of emails they get all about river cruise? Or did you bait and switch them and now you're going to send them something on the Caribbean? Are you going to send them something on a Mexico vacation? Are you going to send them something on Las Vegas? That's not what they opted in for. So sometimes when we let other companies like host agencies do our emails for us, we end up upsetting what could potentially have been a very good converting lead. I was chatting with somebody who owns a CRM company, and they said the way that they teach all of their clients is in your follow-up: value, intrigue. Intrigue and connection. And then you ask for the sale on the 4th. And that is the pattern you repeat over and over and over again. Every week, you do value, then you do value the following week, then you do intrigue or connection the week after. Then you ask for the sale on the 4th. Then you start over at the beginning and you go through, and that's what they do as their pattern. I know getting out emails is a struggle for some. We did an episode a while ago with Liz Wilcox. She has an email marketing membership. I'm going to link that episode up in the show notes as well. She also has a membership. I do get a little bit of an affiliate commission in full transparency, but I will link that up as well. If you are looking to have a little bit of a template in order to just get more consistent on doing your emails, I'm going to do that for you. Now, finally, the last reason why most lead magnets don't work: did you actually put it out there? Did you actually put it out for somebody to be able to download, to be able to receive? Or is it still sitting on a shelf somewhere? Just because you have a book on a shelf in the basement doesn't mean anybody else knows you have that book. Doesn't mean anybody else can read that book. You actually have to put your lead magnet out. You have to let people know that it exists, and not just once or twice, but over and over and over again. You have to keep talking about it. The other thing is that lead magnets need to be tested. We need to change the hook. We need to change the title. We need to change where we're distributing it. There are so many things that need to be factored in that it's a matter of getting it out there, getting it out into the conversation. Because if you're not sharing it anywhere that people can check it out, if you're not sharing it anywhere that people can actually see it, then you can't be upset when it doesn't actually get distributed or when nobody downloads it. See, I've talked to travel advisors who over the years, they've paid somebody thousands of dollars and it's yet to get a single download. But they did the one and done. See, a couple of years ago, that wasn't a big deal. You did a one and done, put it up on your website. It was the pop-up, and that's what you rode with for the next 10 years. That's not the world we're in anymore. We need to be doing something that's easy and quick, but professional and with an outcome, so that you can do something that's going to speak to your clients, something that's going to go deeper than just a social media post, something that's going to give them the information that they need so that they can make better decisions, because it's no more FOMO, it's FOMO. And so we want to make sure that our clients feel comfortable, that they're getting the information that they need. And so you need to be putting it out. You need to be testing it. If you're spending weeks, months, years building something, then you don't have that ability. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of this show that we have our leads blitz coming up. You can go to artofsellingtravel.com/blitz, check it out in the show notes. We do it every couple of months. In it, we talk about who is it for, what is the outcome, and then we're going to help you build it out, and then what you're going to need to do to distribute it. But we do that so that, one, it is a sales focused, not things on sale, but rather so that it converts for sales. We're not looking just to get you email subscribers. Instead, we're looking to help you get actual sales. And then we want to make sure that you're getting it out there. You're testing it. You're seeing what it looks like in the market. But also, too, I want it so that every time you do a new lead magnet, it is an hour or less from the moment the idea comes in until you are ready to publish. It should not take months and months, weeks and weeks, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours to get a new lead magnet out. Because here's the thing, you can spend all that time, but you don't know yet if your audience even cares or even wants it. When I did this a while ago through one of my business coaches, I did a video talking about, I didn't know which was worse, when I put out a lead magnet and nobody wanted it, or when all the wrong people wanted it. And so if you want my guide that I have that's going to walk you through it, go ahead, send me a DM. At the same time, I also did another video about something else, and I already had that one made. But when I did the send me a DM on the guide that doesn't work, yeah, I had a bunch of mental ideas. I hadn't actually written it yet. So I sat down that night, went through, did it all up. I run it as a Google Doc so that I can continue to update it as I go. But here's the thing. That's the one everybody wanted. They didn't want what I had already done, what I had already spent all this time on. They wanted this other one because that's what resonated. Since working on it that way, oh my goodness, it's completely changed how I put out content. Because now, unless somebody raises their hand and says, yes, that's what I want, I don't make it. Because if nobody wants it, then what's the point? But that's a whole entire other conversation to have. Ultimately, the reason why lead magnets don't work is the audience isn't clear. The outcome isn't clear. We're speaking the wrong language. It's irrelevant, or it just simply didn't get put out there. I do have some more thoughts on it. It is going to be in that Google Doc. It's in the show notes. You don't even have to opt in. Come check it out in the show notes. Grab your copy there. And until next time, happy selling.